This is Mr. B back with your now Wednesday post. It is April 29th. So this will actually cover today and Friday. So this is going to give you something to work on for the next couple of lessons. So you don't need to check back again on Friday because this will be what you are working on Friday. So going forward, what we're going to start with is you guys, if I just jump over here, is you guys will start by doing a little bit of a review of your conductors and insulators, the topics that we've kind of covered the last few lessons. And I've got a list of just 2, 4, 6 items here, and they are either conductors or insulators. So you're going to do your best to sort those into being either a conductor or an insulator. And that's just how you're going to get sort of started into this class for today. Once you've done that, it shouldn't take you more than a couple of minutes to sort all of those out because, again, they're going to be repetitious from what we've already covered so far, these last 2 classes. Then you're going to move on. We're going to talk about different types of electrical transformations and transformations into other forms of energy. So what I will show you guys in a moment is a reading that you guys will do, but that reading will focus on these 5 different types of energy. So we have hydroelectricity, battery power, nuclear power, wind power, and solar power. All of these are different forms of power and energy that we can use to power our houses, our buildings, and all kinds of different areas use these as their main source of power, of getting electrical energy, transforming something into electrical energy that we can then use. So of these 5, what you're going to end up doing for today and Friday is you're going to research and look more into one of these 5 sources of power. So we'll move on to our last slide here. And so what you're going to be doing, so we would normally have done this in the computer lab, but you guys can work on this at your own pace at home. You're going to be selecting one of the energy transformations and research to find more information about it. And so today and Friday will be used for that research and selecting your project. So having gone over that, here is what it looks like. So this first page right here gives you information about the 5 different types. So here it talks a little bit about hydroelectricity. Here it talks about battery power. Here it talks about nuclear power plants, which is where nuclear power comes from. A wind turbine would give you wind power or wind energy. And finally, solar power is the last one. So this is just to give you some information about each of them, just a very brief overview of each of the 5 different types of power. From there, you're going to pick the one that you are most interested in or would like to do more research on. And then you will come here, and then, again, this doesn't have to be done on this piece of paper, but it does give you what you have to research when you're going out and finding out information about these. So once again, you would just check off the one that you would want to do, whether that's hydroelectricity, which is very popular in Manitoba, battery power, which we have for a lot of our video games and remote controls and stuff like that, nuclear power, wind power, and solar power. You're going to select one of these 5, and here are the questions that you have to answer in your research. So you have to say, what is energy transformation? So again, from this previous reading, it'll tell you what that is, just very briefly. And then what is the type of energy? How is it harvested or how is it collected? So how do we collect wind energy, or how do we collect hydroelectricity? Basically, how is it turned from its original form into electricity? So how do we take wind, collect it, and put it into electricity? And then how is it transformed? So how do we turn wind into usable electricity? Obviously, we don't put wind through all of our wiring and suddenly that gives us power. The wind gets changed into electricity and we then use that electricity. But how does it get transformed from wind into electricity? It can be a pretty basic answer, or it can be more in depth. So again, this is just talking about what you need to follow up on. So this is just more of the same information that we've already covered on this page. The last thing that we will be doing, we're just going to skip past all these slides because you guys aren't going to have access to those because you don't need them. And this is just the levels of responses. So you want to respond very clearly to what an energy transformation is. That can be in your own words or come right from the reading you had earlier. You clearly indicate what energy form you researched, whether that was one of the 5. And then you clearly indicate how the energy is transformed into electrical energy and how it is harvested. or how it is collected. So this is just to give you sort of a range of responses. The more clear and the more resources you use, the higher of a response level you'll get, kind of thing. It's just to keep you kind of on track of what you have to answer and how you have to answer it. As always, with research type projects like this one, make sure you guys are including at least 2 resources that you use. So again, not Google, but the websites that Google brought you to. Where did you get your information from? Just so we know that it's coming from a reliable source. Even Wikipedia, to a certain extent, is pretty reliable. So you can use that one as a starting point, okay? I hope you guys have a good time with this. If you guys have any questions about the research or where you need help getting started, don't be afraid to reach out, because again, you're going to have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the weekend to work on this, and then Monday we'll move on to something new. So best of luck, you guys, and have a good weekend.